In this video, we're given an equation of a hyperbola, and we're asked to find the center, the transverse axis, the vertices, foci, and asymptotes. And then how would we graph the equation by hand? We'll verify using a graphing utility. So here's the given equation, and we want to divide through by 4 so that we end up having a 1 on the right-hand side. We'll simplify the equation. And the first thing that we notice is that because the y-squared term comes first, that the transverse axis will be parallel to the y-axis. And to get our center, let's recall the standard form for a hyperbola whose transverse is parallel to the y. In this case, we can rewrite it as y minus 2 quantity squared over 4 minus x minus negative 2 quantity squared over 1 is equal to 1. The center being hk. Here's my h, which is negative 2. Here's my k, which is 2. So the center of this hyperbola will be at negative 2, 2. Now my vertices are next. My vertices are going to be located above my center and below my center. So I'm going to keep my same x-coordinate, but I'll be adding to this y-coordinate and subtracting to this y-coordinate the value of a, which is the square root of 4, which I got underneath the y-squared term. So I'm going to be adding and subtracting 2 from this y-coordinate for my vertices. Now the co-vertices, I'm going to be looking at the x-coordinate of my center, adding and subtracting the b, which is 1, from the x-coordinate of my center. And we'll simplify this. My co-vertices are negative 3, 2 and negative 1, 2. Now I start with my, to get the foci, I want to use this equation and substitute in a squared, which is 4, and b squared, which is 1. So I know c will be the square root of 5. That means my foci will be located the square root of 5 units away from my center. So once again, I'm going to be adding and subtracting to the y-coordinate of my center. Here are my foci coordinates. Negative 2, 2 minus root 5, and negative 2, 2 plus root 5. So we'll be graphing those points on our coordinate plane. So now let's take all this information and let's graph the hyperbola, whose equation is rewritten this way. Remembering the transverse axis, it's parallel to the y-axis. The center is at negative 2, 2. The vertices we said on the previous slide were negative 2, 0 and negative 2, 4. Co-vertices are here, and the foci coordinates are here. So we definitely want to start by plotting our center, our 2 vertices, and our 2 co-vertices. Personally, I like to draw the box around these points, and I like to draw the diagonals because these are going to be my asymptotes. Now I'm going to sketch my hyperbola. It's going to pass through those 2 vertices and approach the asymptotes but never quite reach the asymptotes. So here is my hyperbola. And my foci are here. I just plotted those points by estimating what is the y-coordinate of each foci. And finally, the last thing to do is to determine the equations of those 2 asymptotes. Well, what's nice about the asymptotes is I can write them in slope-intercept form because the slope I can determine just by inspection. It's negative 2 and positive 2 respectively, and the y-intercepts, because the intercepts are lattice points, I can determine those by inspection as well. So here are the 2 equations of my asymptotes.